Welcome back to Mac Talks Football, and Tottenham have been humiliated by Wolves at their stadium as they defeat them 4-2. So let's go ahead and talk about this game. From where do I start? Because it was an embarrassing night for Tottenham Hotspur. It has, they were so poor. They were so off par against Wolves in this game. They have been off par throughout the season, but it was embarrassing from the get-go. From the first minute, Wolves, they take the game to Spurs, and Spurs are not really able to handle anything. The ball comes in, and they were like 1-0 up inside the first minute. It becomes a 1-0. Inside 2 minutes, Wolves take the lead, and that was like the alarm bell should have gone off at the Spurs coaching staff in the Spurs defense, but it was the same old. The Spurs continuing to play the way that they have. And Postecoglou doesn't want to change the way that they play, and they are paying the price for his stubbornness. If that is the same for his silliness at this moment. At the moment, he's being silly, and the way that Wolves took them apart, it was really entertaining. It was really fun to see as an Arsenal fan, because Spurs really did not do anything in that game. They had the possession so much. It was like 70 to 30% possession difference in that regard. In that game, Spurs controlled the ball so much, but they barely created anything. Wolves were really happy to just let them have the ball, because unfortunately for Spurs, Wolves even know that they are not going to do anything. There's no creativity, there's no spark, there's no there's no player who's ready to take up the challenge, who's ready to take the risk. And sometimes you need players to grab the game by the scruff of their neck and try to do something, but nothing of that sort was happening. Spurs were poor, Spurs were timid. Even though they had the possession, they were moving the ball so slowly. It felt like Wolves already knew what Spurs were going to do in advance, and they just they just were ready for it. They are lucky they did not go 2-0 down inside 5 minutes. Wolves, they missed a chance after inside 5 minutes. Otherwise, it would have been even worse for them. But it did not matter because they scored the goal. They scored their second goal. What was that clearance? Again, that defense was nowhere to be seen. The cross comes in. I think it was Cunha who tries to head the ball. The goalkeeper makes the save, but it hits the defender right on the chest, and ball goes into the back of the net. It becomes 2-0. That goal basically summed up Spurs defense. It summed up Spurs' season and everything to do with that club in this situation. Nothing is really going on for them, and they are like the catalyst of their own failures, because they don't want to improve, they don't want to change. And if you continue to if you don't change, you are gonna suffer, and that's what happened to them. They go down 2-0, and we go into the first half, and the end of the first half it is 2-0 up. Wolves are 2-0 up. Second half comes in, they pull a goal back. It feels like they are there's gonna be change. Brennan Johnson, it was a very well goal on the last man on the behind the post. He scores the goal. It becomes a 2-1, and you think that Spurs are gonna come back, and but they don't. I think 5 minutes later, Wolves get the goal back. Again, poor defending from Spurs. It becomes a 3-1, and it was very easy for Wolves to tear them apart, and they did it so easily. As I said before, they let Spurs have the ball, and then they try to hit them on the counter. Whenever they hit them on the counter attack, Spurs defense, they were really it feels like they were scared. They were all over the place. They really did not know who was gonna mark who, and who is gonna go with whom. It was so poor to watch. And luckily for them, I don't know for Spurs, they get a goal back. Richarlison gets a goal back. It was from a corner kick. It becomes to a 3-2, and you're thinking this is gonna be and it was like 84th 85th minute, and you're thinking it is gonna be a nervy last 5 to 10 minutes for Wolves. But Spurs yet again, Romero, I think he gave the ball away for that third goal, and for the fourth goal, again the game restarts, and within a minute from becoming 3-2, they get this assist. Yet again, I forgot the player this time, and Cunha takes the ball and he scores the goal and becomes 4-2. That was a complete shit show from Spurs. It has been throughout the season, but this was an embarrassing performance in that regard. They are now 15th in the table, and not only that, Wolves are just 2 points behind them. One more bad game and Wolves could overtake them, and Spurs could come down to 16. How Postecoglou is still in the job, I have no idea. I sat back here and I said it at the end of December that he should be gone before Christmas. I really said it, because I'm saying this as an Arsenal fan, and I, keeping the banter aside, being an unbiased, as I said it, before Christmas, that he should be gone. He cannot continue with this, with this setup, with this mindset. But I don't know what kind of magic he has over Daniel Levy that is not sacking him. Which performances like this week in week out, it is so embarrassing to see. Even as a rival, I am really enjoying it. As I said, I'm an Arsenal fan. I don't really care. But for Spurs fan to see their team do the same mistakes, like every team knows, every team has figured them out. Nobody really tries to go have a go at them, because they know they are just they are gonna see Spurs crumble themselves. They cannot really do anything. Their only hope this season is to win the Europa League, and they lost their game in the Europa League as well. Sorry, they drew their game in Europa League in the first leg. So that is the only thing that is keeping the season alive at this point. But in today's game, they were really, really poor. Wolves, on the other hand, I really don't want to take anything away from Wolves. I think the way that they set up, the way that they went towards Spurs, the way they, the thinking of the manager, the way he set up the team, it was really, really good. They knew that Spurs want to have the ball. They want to, they want possession. They are going to come at them, and they are going to have that high line. So they wanted to make sure that they take advantage whenever they can. They are going to have minimal chances, and whenever they had the chance, they took it. Like they had like 5 shots on goal. 5 or 6 shots on goal, and 4 of them ended up being goals. So that shows how clinical Wolves were. Even though they did not have that much possession, but whenever they got the chance, they were up at it. They were in the danger zone for Spurs, and Spurs basically did not know what to do. I mean, two of Wolves' goals came because of Spurs' mistake, because of giving the ball away, because of getting dispossessed. That shows the press that Wolves were doing in that second half, especially. I mean, they were really, really good. They did not let Spurs, have a sigh of relief. Even the Spurs had the possession, but it felt like Wolves were controlling the game. Wolves were dictating the game, and I think it is a testament to the manager. They were struggling quite a lot early on season, but everybody knew that they have a great team. The problem with them was the injuries. Since they have gotten their players back, they've started, they've completely gotten away from the pack below in the relegation battle. And now, as I said, they could overtake the Spurs team with one, by next week, Spurs lose and Wolves win the game. They could be above Spurs. So that just shows how much of a good turnaround Wolves have done and how bad Spurs have been. So a great day for Wolves, a great victory for them as they continue to go up the table. This has not been a season that they would have wanted, but they would be still they would still be happy that they are in the Premier League and they are having a great end to the season. And if they continue to defeat teams like Spurs in this fashion, I don't think the fans are going to mind that much. But for Spurs, they really need to do something, and they would hope every Spurs fan, and especially Postecoglou, that they turn it around in the Europa League this week on this Thursday. Otherwise, I don't know for what he was kept in the job for. I really don't. I still have no idea why he's still in the job. I'm assuming, to be very honest, that he's gonna go at the end of the season. They are just waiting for the season to end, so they don't want to pay him. I'm just, this is my thinking, because Levy is so he loves his money. So I think that is the reason that he's keeping them in. So yeah, that's it from me in this video. Let me know what you guys thought of the game, what you guys think of Spurs performance, what you guys thought of Wolves performance in the comment section below. Like the video, share it as well, click on the notification bell, of course subscribe to the channel. Until next time, bye bye.